Hi, today we're going to be looking at this little guy. This one is the Benchmade 921 Switchback, Osborne design. And yeah, let's just get into it. Let's talk about the blade first. This knife is a plain edge folder, and you can get them in, I believe, black and partial serrated. So you could get black partial serrated, or satin partial serrated, or just black plain edge. All those choices are out there. So what you're going to be getting in this model is a 3.4 inch blade of S30V. And as you can see, the blade shape is not really a drop point. No. This is kind of like a Warncliffe. I'm not really sure, because there's a tiny bit of belly. It's just like a Warncliffe that's not entirely straight. And it comes with that nice point over here. So, that's how it looks in the handle. And, yeah, it's 3.4 inches, which I really think is surprising. The knife is very thin, slim, and easy to carry. And you're getting a heck of a lot of blade in, a really carryable package. And steel on this guy is S30V. Let me bring you in on that. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. You can see that. S30V. And obviously, it's an Osborne design. You can see his logo right there. I really like Osborne's designs. What they're good for is, really strong knives. A lot of people might consider this knife and maybe the 940 to be, kind of more gentleman's knives, or even weaker. But I personally think that, this switchback is just as strong as any Griptilian or any other sort of axis lock knife. That's just me. I haven't, abused it. If you look at the blade, you can see the finish. As you can see, oh, hey, it's me. It's a satin finish. It's really not this shiny in real life. I don't know why the camera does that. It's kind of like a cloudy satin finish, but I really like it because it shows, it hides wear pretty well. Your thumb stud is really nice for just flicking at the knife really quickly. This is amazingly fast. Benchmade's axis locks are just smooth. They're just plain smooth. If you look at the, I don't know if I can show you here. I can't really show you here, but it's incredibly smooth. So, that's the blade. It's just pretty purposeful, actually. I don't see any problems having any cutting with it. Grind on this guy is a flat grind, and it's not quite full flat, but as you can see, it starts right about here. Okay, so this part of the blade is full flat ground, and this is basically full flat ground. It doesn't go exactly to the top, but it goes 4/5 of the way, if not more. Handle is made out of 6061 aluminum, which is pretty common, and it's anodized blue, and that blue anodizing is just beautiful. I don't know if I can really show that. It's a really nice blue in real life, and the anodizing job that Benchmade does on these is just phenomenal. It's like absolutely perfect. I can't fault it anyway. And they added these lines here. It doesn't really make it any grippier, but it looks cool. The handle shape is actually pretty interesting. Usually, you'll have it's kind of similar to the Benchmade Griptilian. You got the fatter bottom, and you're going into a thin point about here, and you get thick again. So it actually has very good ergonomics. But one interesting thing about this switchback is that there's this notch here, which is pretty interesting, and it opens up a lot of grip opportunities. One way I like to grip it is with 2 fingers in front of the notch here, and the thumb on the thumb ramp, and then come back with the 4th and 5th fingers like that. Okay, and that's a good grip. I feel like it could be better. I don't know. It's kind of just weird on this knife how thick it is back here, but it fits comfortably. Okay, and another way to hold it is to just put the second finger in front of the notch, put your pinky against this sort of flat part over here, and put the 4th and 5th finger here. So you kind of get farther back on the knife, but you know, I prefer the more forward grip. Axis lock, phenomenal. You know, you can do it with one hand, no problem about that, and it works well with the handle. You're not going to be putting your fingers in the way of the blade. One really interesting feature about this knife is the second blade on the second blade on the back. You know, as opposed to the 3.4-inch S30V locking blade, on the back you get a slip joint. As you can see, it rides in here. And it's got those little holes there. I don't know what they're for. And it does have a thumb nail nick, is that what they call it? I don't know if you can tell, but it's right here. Basically what it is a sort of really small cutout, so you can stick your thumb, you know, against here, and it makes it a lot easier to bring the blade out like that. The slip joint blade is actually a really similar blade shape to the main blade. You got that sort of Wharncliffe styling that you saw before. See how similar that is? And if I actually didn't measure this, but if I had to guess, I would say most of 2 inches. Maybe 1.5, 1 2/3, something to that point. And you know, it's full flat ground. This one is completely full flat. Excuse me. This one is completely full flat ground, so it's nice and sharp. Steel on this one is 440C. You know, you don't need anything better than 440C. You know, this kind of makes it a dual-purpose knife. It's a lot more sheeple friendly when you take out a small slip joint, and if you just, you know, don't show the rest of the blade in your hand, sort of like this, you know, it's really not that scary. The spring is nice and strong, so you don't have to worry about that. If you look at the back of the knife here, you can see that aluminum spacer, which I also believe serves as the back spring, the spring for the slip joint here. And it's not really a flow-through design, but it does have a little gap here. And I guess if, you know, some of the liquid that, if you ever get liquid in here, some of it could come out through this gap here. You can look at the clip here. This one is the split arrow clip, and it carries really well actually. Only this much or so is sticking out of your pocket, and you know, it's still really pocket friendly. Yeah, that's basically the Benchmade Switchback. It's a really nice folder, very nice and sharp. I mean, Osborne, in all his designs, he manages to get a huge amount of blade into a really small handle. So that's one thing really great about Osborne's. I mean, they don't take up a lot of space, but you know, you have a heck of a lot of cutting power, and especially with the axis locks, you don't have to worry about strength or anything. One last really quick note I want to make about this knife is the thickness of the blade. As you can see, the blade thickness is not really substantial. I don't know if you can tell, but the mini Griptilian is actually thicker. Anyway, that's the Benchmade Switchback. I would advise getting it if you're interested in this model. It's pretty versatile, and it's pretty sheeple friendly too. I think the blue anodizing makes it really nice to look at, and I think it'd be a good purchase. Wow, I almost cut myself. Okay. Thanks, guys.